everyone. Welcome to church. Can you believe it's been 2 whole weeks since we've seen you? That's a long time. We've missed you a lot, but I hope that you had fun. So who wants to say hi to Sunny? Who can we see? There's Elsie and Kwame, and there's Chad and Hlangela and Catherine. Huh? Catherine? What are you doing here?
Thanks, Kerry. Hi, everyone. It's Catherine here. Now, Kerry's handed over to me because for the next 6 weeks, we're going to be learning about Daniel and we're going to be doing it all together. So if you're in the 2 to 4 group or the 5 to 8 group, we're going to be having the same video. So that's going to be lots of fun. And it's lovely to be back because I haven't seen you for a few weeks and I hope you've been keeping well. Well done to all those children who got Nathan's Spot the Difference right. Of course, the biggest difference was that I'd actually turned into Nathan. Well done, Libby and Sarah Hope, for spotting that. And he also had some other differences. So well done to Abby and Noah, to Zach, Rachel and Oliver, to Sarah Hope and Libby, Timo and Matthias and Hannah, who all noticed that his paper people moved, and various other things. I wonder if anything will change today. Keep your eyes peeled. Now, we also had some brilliant self-portraits in these last 2 weeks. We're so happy about how many of you have sent them in. So have a look at these.
God made me who I'm meant to be. He loves me just the way I am. God made me who I'm meant to be. His dream for me is so amazing. For this simple reason, I am happy to be me. Whoa, whoa, my God watches over me. Whoa, whoa, I feel like royalty. For this simple reason, I am happy to be me. God made me who I'm meant to be. He loves me just the way I am. God made me who I'm meant to be.
Weren't they brilliant? And as you know, we promised that we would give out some prizes for those self-portraits. And they were so good that we found it really difficult to decide who should win. So we've decided to send a pack of these crayons to every family who submitted some self-portraits. So well done to you all. And if you've sent them in already and we've shown them on our videos, then we're going to get in touch and make sure you've got one of these sets. So hopefully you can carry on doing some more beautiful drawings of you and your friends. And a big shout out to Caleb, who was so inspired by Hope's beautiful painting in the last video that he did his own. Isn't that beautiful? Well done, Caleb. So as I said, we're going to be learning about the story of Daniel. Now, I wonder what's going to go on today's lesson. There's lots of vegetables everywhere, have you noticed? Did you spot the carrot and the cucumber? Do you know what this one is? That's right, some mealy. It's not often you get a Bible story with vegetables in it, is it? But there are vegetables in today's story. Daniel lived a very long time ago, even before the time of Jesus. Daniel lived in a time where lots of people didn't believe in the real God. Lots of people worshipped other kinds of gods, like idols and statues, a bit like this one. But those aren't real, and we shouldn't worship them, and Daniel knew that. Daniel chose to worship the real God of everyone and everywhere. And in all the stories that we're going to hear about Daniel, which involve some vegetables and possibly some lions later on, we'll find out that his real God looked after him. Now, in all our stories, we're going to hear that sentence that I just said, the real God of everyone and everywhere. So we've got some special actions for you so you can practice doing them. It goes like this. The real God, can you do that? The real God of everyone and everywhere. Let's do that one more time. The real God of everyone and everywhere. Kerry, can you do those actions?
Yes, I think I can do that. So it's the real God of everyone and everywhere. Is that right?
Well done, Kerry, that was perfect. So hopefully you've all got those actions sorted And when you're hearing us say those words in the lessons, you can do them with us. So now we're going to do some worship. We are going to sing Royalty one more time with some more videos that have come in. And then we're going to sing King of Me. Now, if you listen really carefully in that song, you might hear them talking about Daniel. So have a good listen.
God made me who I'm meant to be. He loves me just the way I am. God made me who I'm meant to be. His dream for me is so amazing. For this simple reason, I am happy to be me. Whoa, whoa, my God watches over me. Whoa, whoa, I feel like royalty. For this simple reason, I am happy to be me. God made me who I'm meant to be. He loves me just the way I am. God made me who I'm meant to be. His dream for me is so amazing. For this simple reason, I am happy to be me. Whoa, whoa, my God watches over me. Whoa, whoa, I feel like royalty. For this simple reason, I am happy to be me. Whoa, whoa, my God watches over me. Whoa, whoa, I feel like royalty. For this simple reason, I am happy to be me. Whoa, whoa, I am happy to be me. Whoa, whoa, I am happy to be me. Whoa, whoa, I am happy to be me. Whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, my God watches over me. Whoa, whoa, I feel like royalty. For this simple reason, I am happy to be me. Whoa, whoa, my God watches over me. Whoa, whoa, I feel like royalty. For this simple reason, I am happy to be me. Whoa, whoa, I am happy to be me. Whoa, whoa, yeah. My God's the king of the giants. My God's the king of the lions. My God's the king of the creatures of the deep. My God's the king of me. Have you heard the story about my friend King Dave? Wouldn't let the giant stand in his way. He said, hand me my sling, cause he's not that tall. My God is bigger and I watch him fall. My God's the king of the giants. My God's the king of the lions. My God's the king of the creatures of the deep. My God's the king of me. Have you heard the one about this guy called Dan? Yes, he was a mighty holy praying man. They said throw him to the den of the scary beasts, but God saved a hero from the lion's teeth. Yeah! My God's the king of the giants. My God's the king of the lions. My God's the king of the creatures of the deep. My God's the king of me. This is more than history. You will do the same for me. Like Jonah and the whale at sea. When I'm lost and afraid, all alone in the dark, you're with me. Oh, you're with me. My God's the king of the giants. My God's the king of the lions. My God's the king of the creatures of the deep. My God's the king of me. My God's the king of the giants. My God's the king of the lions. My God's the king of the creatures of the deep. My God. king of me.
Oh, that was so much fun. I loved seeing some of you guys dressing up. So cool. But now, I'm really excited to do this series on Daniel. And it's so cool that we're doing it all together. Shall we go and start it? Let's go over to Tapua and see what she has to say.
Hello boys and girls, my name is Tapua Moru from Jubilee Age2-8 Older. Today I'm going to show you how we make sadza, one of my childhood favorite food and which is also a staple food in Zimbabwe where I come from. Sadza is quite easy to make. All you need is some mealie meal, a wooden spoon, cold water and some hot water in a pot. You mix the cold water and some mealie meal and form a paste. And then you add some hot water and form a soft porridge, which we are going to boil for about 5 to 10 minutes. And when our porridge has boiled, we need to add more mealie meal to make it thicker. So it depends with how thick you want it. You add some mealie meal as it thickens. Like us, we need it quite a bit thicker, so we add more mealie meal and we stir it so that it becomes smooth. It requires a bit of some stirring, but it's so funny to make the sadza. And after we are done, we can just leave it for about 5 minutes to simmer, and then we can serve it. We like to serve it with beef stew, beans and spinach, and it's so delicious when we have it like this. Food is so amazing. Sometimes it helps others to show where we come from and our different cultures. Today we are going to learn in our story of some young men who chose to eat specific food to show that they were special and they were different. Now I'm going to hand over to Nolene for this amazing story. Enjoy.
Hello everyone, my name is Noreen and I serve at Jubilee Kloof Street. Let's start the first story about the life of Daniel.
When Daniel was a young man, his home in Jerusalem was attacked by King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon. God allowed King Nebuchadnezzar to win the battle and take treasures with him back to Babylon. Some of these treasures were tools used in God's temple, and King Nebuchadnezzar put those into the temple of his God. The other treasures that were taken to Babylon were some of the brightest young men of Israel. King Nebuchadnezzar told his officials to choose young men who were handsome and skillful and clever. They would have been the top of their class, maybe, captain of their sports teams, their main actor in the school play. Everyone wanted to play with them at break time and be their friend. The young men who were chosen were taken away from their home and brought to Babylon to be trained to serve the king. Daniel and his friends Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah were taken to Babylon. They learned the Chaldean language and were taught about the culture of the new country. They were even given new names. The king wanted them to forget their home and their family and become loyal Babylonians. And the worst part was that he wanted them to forget God and serve the gods of Babylon. But Daniel and his friends were determined not to forget God. They would always love God, the real God of everyone and everywhere, with all of their hearts. They wanted to remind themselves that they were different. They didn't worship the false gods in their new home, so they chose one thing that would make them different. They decided that they wouldn't eat the same food as all of the other young men. While the other young men ate special food from the palace, Daniel and his friends asked if they could eat only vegetables. Then every mealtime they would remember that they were different because they loved the real God of everyone and everywhere, and everyone else would see that too.
Daniel and his friends had to face something very difficult in the story. They were taken away from everything they knew and loved. They had to learn a new language and new traditions. They were even given new names. Many things in their lives were different and strange. They knew that even if other things changed, the one thing that would always stay the same was that they would worship God, the real God of everyone and everywhere. And they knew that God loved them and knew them, and that He would never forget them or leave them alone. Over to the LaRue family.
So we're the LaRue family. I'm Teresa.
I'm Emily. And I'm Mila.
We hope you enjoy the new series in Daniel, and we're here today to teach you the memory verse, which comes from Daniel
6:26.
We're going to teach it in a song to help you remember. Are you ready, girls?
Yes.
Let's go. 1, 2, 3.
Daniel's God is a living God, living God, living God. Daniel's God is a living God. He lives forever.
We'll do it again and you can practice with us. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Daniel's God is a living God, living God, living God. Daniel's God is a living God. He lives forever.
Happy practicing. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, LaRue family. And thanks to Pua, Hope, and Noreen. What a great start to the story. I wonder what's going to happen next week. Now, if you guys would like to do something this week to help you remember our story, why don't you take a paper plate and draw your favorite meal? Or, even better, you and your family could make your favorite meal, and maybe Mom will even let you help in the kitchen. That would be fun. Then take a photo of you guys enjoying it and send it to this number. Now that's all we have from Sunny and I. But if you're part of the older group, don't go away because Catherine's got more especially for you. So bye from me and over to Catherine.
Thanks, Kerry. If you're 5, 6, 7 or 8, I just want to explain one more thing to you from this story. Now, Daniel's name was very important to him because it had a special meaning. It meant, God is my judge. His name pointed to the real God. So did his friends. His friends Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah all had names that pointed to the real God. Azariah's name meant the Lord has helped. Their names were important. Their names showed that they were in the family of God, in the Israelite family. When they went to Babylon, King Nebuchadnezzar wanted to change their names because he wanted to hide the real God. He didn't believe in the real God. And he thought if he changed their names, then the real God would be hidden. Maybe they wouldn't believe anymore. So they got these new names. Belteshazzar, Azariah became Abednego, Hananiah became Shadrach, and Mishael became Meshach. Imagine if someone wanted to change your name. These new names didn't point to the real God. They pointed to false gods, to idols, to things that weren't real. But do you think Nebuchadnezzar could hide God behind some new names? No, he couldn't. Do you think he could make God become untrue by taking their names away? No, he couldn't. And Daniel and his friends knew that they followed the real God of everyone and everywhere, and that is the same God that you can follow. We're going to hear some fascinating stories about Daniel and his friends over the next few weeks and how the real God of everyone and everywhere never let them down. Let's pray. God, I thank you that you are with us in the most difficult times. I thank you that you gave Daniel and his friends the strength to stand up for you and be different in their new land and to show other people that their strength came only from you. I pray that everyone watching today will believe in you too. Amen. Thanks for joining us today. As Kerry said, we would love to receive a photograph of you sharing a special meal with your family. Maybe as you have that meal, take some time to thank God that He lives in our hearts, that He can make us strong, and He does make us different because He can fill us with so much strength and courage. Why don't you see how many vegetables you can eat this week? And as you're eating vegetables, thank God for the strength that He fills us with. Have a great week, everyone, and we really look forward to seeing you next week. Bye. And they didn't mind. They probably didn't mind. I'm talking about Daniel. So keep your ears peeled. What?